Welcome to Making More, the podcast where high-performing business owners and visionary executives share how they're building more than just bottom lines. I'm your host, Billy Fisher, an engineering leader turned business and executive coach, and I'm guided by a personal mission to help leaders create clarity, build forward momentum, and make more of what matters most. Today, I'm joined by Sandy Carter, Chief Business Officer at Unstoppable Domains and a leading voice in digital innovation. Sandy has been named one of the most influential women in technology, recognized for her leadership at Amazon Web Services and her dedication to opening doors for the next generation of women in tech. She's a strategist, a builder, a change maker, helping us all think bigger about what's possible in the digital future. Sandy, welcome to Making More.
Billy, it is so incredibly great to be here. And I have to say, I wish I was where you are right now. That's a beautiful background, I have to say.
Well, it is just a virtual background, I have to admit. I'm not in Cupertino, but I think, where are you at this morning?
I am in Scottsdale, Arizona.
Okay, also beautiful.
Yeah.
Very nice. Okay. Is that where your all's headquarters is at?
We are virtual. We're completely remote.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah, I came out here. I was doing some stuff. I got to meet Raymond Ray a couple nights ago here in Scottsdale. I don't know if you know him. He's a phenomenal entrepreneur, a great speaker, et cetera. Yeah. So yeah, there's just a couple things here. So I kind of travel between North Carolina, Scottsdale, Cupertino, and Seattle, where my home was for Amazon Web Services.
Okay. Now, is the North Carolina tie to go back to like Duke country? I noticed you got your undergrad at Duke.
I did. It is kind of, but it's really to go see my mom and dad, who are
Your
getting up
parents live there.
in
Very
years.
good.
Yeah, so I wanted to make sure I could take care of them.
Awesome. That's terrific that you're able to get back and do just that.
Yep.
So your leadership roles over the years, you have had just the murderer's row of a resume. We're talking IBM, Amazon. So I want to talk about some of that today for sure, but I also want to get into what you're doing now at Unstoppable Domains, because that's a pretty exciting space.
Yeah, I have to tell you, Billy, I have been extremely blessed in my journey. I got to start out at doing some work for the NBA, believe it or not, the National Basketball Association. I'm a huge basketball fan, and I got to work there when David Stern was there. We were helping the NBA figure out how to market more to women. David used to say, I want more people like you who love basketball. And we all know that a lot of the sporting teams like NFL actually makes most of their money from selling merch, and most of the buys are by women. So it was quite an interesting time. My real first true, I would say, marketing experience, which was very interesting. And then I headed on over to IBM. I did lots of different things there. I was a chief business officer there, chief strategy officer. I did product for a while, chief product officer, chief marketing officer, chief sales officer. And right before I left, I did a lot of work on Watson. Now, if you don't know, Watson from IBM is IBM's foray into artificial intelligence. In fact, they were doing AI before AI was like wicked cool. I have to tell you a funny story, Billy. I was teaching at a university, and I was introduced, and they said, Sandy's been doing AI since 2013. And when I got up on stage, one super smart student raised his hand and he said, Ms. Carter, ChatGPT wasn't even around in 2013. Did the person who interviewed you got that wrong? So I had to explain that obviously AI has been around much longer than just ChatGPT.
Oh my gosh.
And then in between IBM and Amazon, I did another startup. It was quite interesting. And then I went to Amazon and I did a lot of work again, setting up the enterprise division there, and also ensuring that our customers had understood the cloud and the power that the cloud would bring to artificial intelligence. And now I'm at Unstoppable, which is another startup. So Billy, it's kind of interesting. I didn't do this on purpose, but I started at a startup, went to IBM, went to a startup, went to Amazon. Now I'm at a startup. And I feel like that gives me a great deal of understanding and great perspective and breadth, because at a startup, you get to put your fingers in so many different things, right? You're not restricted by silos, but you don't have any money.
Mm.
You need funding, you need cash, you need people. Then you go to a big company and you've got all the funding and the people, but you're in silos typically. And so it's a great way to kind of balance the two challenges, if you would, because no place is obviously perfect.
It's a great testament to being able to work with like unlimited resources versus very limited resources. I had a mentor at Toyota one time who was just trying to explain to me what it was going to be like stepping into a leadership role at a nonprofit for a volunteer organization. And he basically, his advice to me was just know going in that they're not even going to know what they don't have. Like it's going to be just a world of difference compared to what I have access to at Toyota versus what they are limited with. And so I think it is, you're exactly right. I'm sure it gives you a great perspective being able to go back and forth between these two domains.
Yeah. And it's actually, I mean, I've loved every job that I've had. So it's actually really fun, right? Like at Unstoppable, I helped with our unicorn raise. That was something I had never done before. At Amazon, I helped build the enterprise business for them. Anyway, it's just been such a fun time. Each and every experience teaches you something out, something different. And I think that's one of the big takeaways is in today's environment, in the age of AI, that curiosity, that learning, that ability to get in there and do what you need to do, I think is a superpower. And for
Mm.
anybody listening, stay curious, stay with a learning mindset. It's all about your mindset and where you're headed.
Continuous learning is one of the greatest weapons that you can have in life. I think it's just it. I mean, for me, if I didn't have that, I don't know what I would do.
Yeah.
I think it's
True.
just something that's ingrained in me now, and so I'm just lucky to where that's always, it's like the Dave Letterman used to say, the genius switch is always on. It's just that curiosity doesn't go away. Oh, so leadership in these positions, I would think that these are all fairly fast-paced environments, maybe a little bit different between big corporation and startup, but I think all fast evolving technology, the kind of the cutting edge of it. So what have you taken away from being able to lead in those environments?
Well, leadership really varies by the company. First of all, you've got to fit into the culture. I love the saying that culture eats strategy for lunch. So I
Hmm.
couldn't lead at IBM and lead at Amazon in the same way because the culture is different. What they value is different. Their principles are different. So I think, one of the first things you need to do is figure out the culture of the company that you're going into, and then figure out what you love about that culture, and then maybe some things you want to change about that culture. So, for instance, I loved AWS. It was so customer obsessed. Like that's the word we use,
Mm.
customer
Yep.
obsessed. And we were expected at every level of the business to be ingrained with customers. And I absolutely love that. But we had missed the employee obsession.
Mm.
So we're obsessing over customers, we forgot the employee. And so before I left, we did add that as one of our leadership principles, which was not employee obsession, but something very, very similar that I think made a huge difference. And then at a startup, you have an opportunity to shape the culture in a much bigger and broader way. So I do think when you go to a startup, you get to learn what the founders like and how to help shape and mold that culture too. And between Amazon and IBM, I had my own company. So I spent a lot of time thinking about what culture I wanted. How did I want people to feel? One of my mentors said, people won't remember what you asked them to do, but they'll remember how they felt. How did they feel when they interacted with Billy? How did they feel when they interacted with Sandy? Did they get energized? Were they motivated? And I'm so happy because when people who I've managed or led with come back and talk to me, they always say, you stretched me to do something I didn't think I could do. You put me in a role that I didn't think I was ready for. And I was mad at you for a little bit because I didn't think I was ready. And then I grew into it. And now I'm like, wow, I couldn't have been where I am today without growing into it. So So I really love that. So I do think leadership really varies. At Unstoppable this morning, I was writing a press release. I would never do that at Amazon, right? We have a whole 100 people writing press releases. But today I get to write a press release on something really cool that we're doing. So, each opportunity is different and each area of leadership is different, right? At the startup, I'm leading by doing. I'm leading by a word I created from my book, play storming, which is not just thinking about it, not just directing, but actually getting my hands dirty so I understand what it's like to do a certain task.
I'm going to have to add that to my vocabulary. Play storming?
Yeah. So
Oh.
here's, I write the book on AI first, human always. And one of the things that I recognized was to write the book, I played with about 100 tools. And I felt like my depth of understanding went up exponentially with each additional tool that I tried, because I was actually creating an AI agent. I was orchestrating agents. I was leveraging GPTs. And so not just something somebody else created, but stuff I created. And so I felt like the book has a lot of depth to that. And I don't think I would have been able to do the same reading about the tools or just brainstorming. And so I'm like, oh, there has to be a word for that. Like, what's the word? There was no word. So I created this word called play storming, where you're actually getting in there, getting your hands dirty, creating an agent, making sure that you know precisely what it means to be an AI first company. And so I really do believe strongly that leaders today need to show up and obviously lead. And part of the way that you lead today in an AI first organization is you try the tools out for yourself. You leverage them for yourself.
Love that. Learning by doing it is, I think, the absolute best way. And you've added an extra spin to that. So I have to ask, because you mentioned Amazon, very customer first. Some leadership philosophies very employee first. Now you're saying AI first. So why not AI second or third?
Well, it's AI first, human always.
Oh.
And so for me, that is really crucial and important. I think the best companies out there think about the people. And I'll give you an example. I won't give you the name of the company, but they were trying out these super cool, Billy. There was these mood jackets. I don't know if you have a mood ring,
Yeah.
this is like a mood jacket. It had IoT sensors in it, and it would sense when you were hot or cold, or if you were feeling down. It would sense, the need for a break. And this company spent 9 months getting everything ready for the mood jacket, all the technology, all the sensors right, comfortability of the jacket, the whole 9 yards. And then they were ready and they rolled it out in 2 weeks. Boom. So what didn't they do? They didn't think about how they were going to roll it out. How were they going to explain it to the teams? What were the managers going to do? What were the leaders going to do? This was to be rolled out on a shop floor in a manufacturing facility. Now, the team who came up with the idea, their motives were good, right? They wanted to help the employees be more comfortable and happy at work, but without explaining, oh, all your data is anonymous. Oh, this is for you. It's not really for me. All the data that we get is going to be dumped into AI. No one will know who's who. So it's not going to be used to measure your productivity. Now, a couple of managers who were good managers, before they asked their employees to wear the jackets, they talked to their employees. They explained what it was for. They said, hey, I'm going to take feedback. What do you like about it? What don't you like about it? And then it went live. And of course, you can already guess the teams that had their managers explain it to them were like, oh, this is really cool because I got a break today. We had music playing to pump us up. We didn't have to wait for the normal, oh, we have to do this for 2 hours and then something else. Because the program sensed what we were doing, we got to do different things. And they viewed it as a positive tool. And of course, they knew the data was anonymous. Other groups, people were taking the jackets off. They were very unhappy. And it was because of the way they rolled it out. And that's because it was AI first, but human last. Not AI first, human always. Like, there needs to be a human in the loop. You've got to explain things. You want to empower people. I think AI is most powerful when it's used to build up people, like maybe do a task that they're not doing and then recreate their role, because AI is now doing that, just like you would do if you added 4 more people to a team. If you're already on the team, you might have more junior people that are going to do some of the things you used to do. Now you have to recreate your role. And so for me, that's why I think it's AI first, human always.
That is the book. And where can people find that book?
You can find it on Amazon. Let me show it to you because,
Okay. Please, if you've got a copy, that'd be great.
see, there we go. So I wrote the book AI first, and then everybody now is AI first. So there's like a thousand books,
Oh,
but it's AI first, human always, human always. And the other really cool thing, Billy, about the book is that for everybody who buys a copy of the book, they get a free AI agent. So, and yeah, so I wrote an AI agent to go along with the book, because here's what I was thinking is that, first of all, if I'm going to tell people be AI first, human always, I need to do it, right? I can't just talk about it. I need to do it. And secondly, when you write a book for a great publisher like Wiley, you're going to put your pen down 9 months before the book gets published. 9 months.
mm-hmm.
Now think about AI. It's like moving. We just talked about how important it is to learn. In 9 months, the world changes. And so I didn't want people to buy the book and go, oh, she's talking about AI agent platforms. What we have bunches of them today. Well, when I wrote the book, we didn't. So I supplemented the book with an agent. What the agent does is it adds extra things that weren't in the book or weren't available in the book. I write for Forbes. I'm a Forbes contributor. I'm constantly doing research, constantly learning. And so I add all of that into the learning for the AI agent.
Okay. Well, that sounds like a great value then. I know I'm gonna have to pick up a copy when this episode is done recording. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I want to back up a little bit and just help the audience grab kind of the big picture of where we're at right now with AI, with the blockchain. What are the kind of the high school level summaries for what those technologies are up to right now?
Well, so first of all, let me talk about my belief. My solid belief is that AI and blockchain go together. I think that blockchain strengthens AI in lots of different ways, but a prime one is in trusted verification. It can verify ownership. We're all worried about deepfakes. We're all worried about, was that my voice on the phone or was that somebody else's, a voice agent on the phone? And so I think that blockchain really adds to AI that trusted verification. We're at a crucial point right now. If you look at the Edelman barometer study, it will show that we're like 51% of people trust artificial intelligence, 49% of people don't. So it's on the border, it's on the cusp. And you and I both have been around for a while, so we know any relationship, whether it's business or personal, anything that you use, you have to have trust in the tool, right? I'm not going to use AI for healthcare if I don't trust that it's going to give me good information. I'm not going to use AI for my marketing and analyzing my leads if I don't trust it's going to provide value. And so that trustedness, a lot of it came from having deep fakes out there. So I do believe very solidly that blockchain is very important. I do talk about it in my book, AI First, Human Always, that blockchain is a crucial element of the puzzle that we need to pull together. That being said, today we're kind of on this journey with AI. And if you think about it, we kind of all started with GPTs, right? We're all like using GPTs to answer questions, hopefully a little bit as a thought partner as well, I would say. A thought partner that enables you to bounce ideas off of the tool, et cetera. And I think that that's a really important stage because that's kind of where you start to learn what's going on. So that chatbot stage, I guess I would say, where you're trying to get AI to help you with everyday tasks. Let me say it that way, automate some things. And then I think stage 2 is maybe writing your own GPT. Having it do something very specific for you so that you can throw tasks off for that. I know I had a person that was working on one of the teams that I lead, and they were like, oh man, I need this tool. I need engineering to do it. Well, our engineering team is swamped. So there's no way that they can go and build that tool. So I said, why don't you do it? Do it as a GPT. And he did. The code is not obviously production ready, but for him, it really helps him do what he needs. And then I think we move up to this, what we call, so that was kind of like reasoning, right? Kind of having AI complete a task for you. And then we have today, as other people are mature enough to do agents. And agents are today where you can have AI go off and do something for you autonomously. It could be, you know, every time a form comes in, do this, or every Monday at 9 a.m., do this. But it autonomously goes off and it completes that task for you. And I think a lot of people are in one of these kind of three levels, right? Like kind of they're at the chat GPT level or Claude or Grok, asking questions, doing research as a thought partner, or moved up to the reasoner area where they're using it to autonomously automate things. And then you're going to move up to the agent state where you're going to have now a task triggered by something and autonomously done for you. I think most companies are in those three stages. There are some companies, though, who are now moving up to innovator, allowing AI to innovate for you, and then organization-wide deployment, where you've got orchestration going on. I was just in Silicon Valley. I was at something called the Llama Lounge, which is super cool. And in the Llama Lounge, they had a new startup. And this new startup was doing orchestration of agents, which means that instead of just having an agent, like let's say in marketing for you, being on your org chart, maybe doing market analysis, analyzing leads, they are now orchestrated that across the organization so that maybe I could have the market research also interface with a sales agent that then gives feedback into a product area so that I can change a product. So they're orchestrating across the corporation. I don't think many companies are there yet, but companies are going to go here very shortly.
It sounds like a new way to break down silos, doesn't it? Where you can really have, like you said, orchestration across an organization where it's a lot of times an agent that's facilitating that.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, at every stage of that, I think there are humans involved. There are humans in the loop, right? Whether you're writing your own chat GPT or you're doing an agent to automate something for you, even putting agents on your org chart. I was working with a company, their marketing organization now has started, because they're not able to hire at this stage, they've started putting agents on their org chart where they can have an agent do that market intelligence or that lead analysis or that landing page analysis. They treat them almost like a teammate, bring them in, but they're still humans running around everywhere. The same is true in orchestration. Like, how do you know what idea to take from marketing to sales to product? Some of those things today, you can't do that autonomously. You really need people in the loop, humans in the loop to do that.
On a global scale, what does this mean for businesses and for leaders that are trying to just guide organizations through this technological leap that we're making?
Well, it means you need to get out there and you need to play storm with it. You need to figure out how it's going to help your organization. I'm now at a company called Unstoppable Domains. We are built on blockchain and we use artificial intelligence all over our company, both for internal as well as for our customers. We do digital identity. So a domain represents your identity, whether you're a person or whether you are a company. Let's take a .com. We now have .coms on chain, or an agent, believe it or not. We're now naming agents too. There is a .twin that represents like bank teller.twin, a twin of a bank teller, for example. And then we store information about that agent, about that person, about that company. And we use it as their digital identity. So as Unstoppable, we have tried lots of different tools for AI. As a leader, you need to do that. That was the question you asked me. What does a leader do? So one of the things we figured out is, what do we do really, really well? we are a great customer support organization.
Mm.
And so what we decided to do was to say, let's see if we can have an AI agent handle the lowest hanging fruit. We're, like I said, we're a unicorn. So we're small, we're growing. We have 4.5 million digital identities out there. So it's hard to cover 24/7 around the world. So we created an AI agent that would answer questions for us. Now, today it's answering about 32% of our questions, only 32%, because we believe the others need a human in the loop because they're more complicated. They're bigger clients of ours. But our customer sat went up. Why did it go up? Because the agent was able to answer the question. If you ask the question at 1 a.m, it would answer it at 1:01 a.m, right? Where we might not have a person there. I think it's important that I started with something that was working well. Many companies view AI as magic. So they're going to use it to fix what's broken. I know it sounds funny, but it's true. The other day I had this guy come up to me and he's like, you've worked with all these agent platforms. I want to create an agent for my company. And I was like, okay, great. And Billy, it gets even better. The guy goes, I'm going to use it to analyze all my losses. Like every loss we have, I'm going to use it to analyze it and figure out why we're losing. I was like, that's a great idea. Where do you store that information today? Do you store that in Salesforce? No, we don't have Salesforce. Oh, do you store it in HubSpot? No, we really don't have a CRM. I was like, that's okay. Do you have it in a spreadsheet somewhere? Like, where are these losses stored? He's like, oh, we don't have it in spreadsheets. I was like, okay, are your sales guys, like, can you go interview your sales guys? And he goes, no, I want them to start tracking this stuff. It's like, this is not the place to start. You don't know the process. You don't know what works. Don't start here. AI is not magic. So make sure that you're starting on automating something that's working. And I have lots of examples like this, Billy. Another company was trying to automate a billing system that was already broken. You got to pause. You got to step back and say, okay, if that's broken, let me fix that manually. Let me use my humans to figure out what's going on. If I'm doing something great, like at one company I was talking to, they were using AI to help top reps find the best leads, the most qualified leads. That was working well. They just added AI to make it go faster and to add some intelligence into it too. Their revenue's up 35%. So if you've got something that works great, then use it. I would say fix your broken stuff first. Like, yeah, don't try this on something that's broken. Map your worst processes and fix them manually, and then look at adding AI to it. But 2, make your winners bigger. So, give your top 20% performers AI superpowers, help them go the whole rest of the way. And then regardless, if your customers hate it, kill it. So for example, when we tried this AI agent for support, if our customer sat had not gone up, if our customer sat had gone down, we would have killed it because we're about the customer, right? I learned that from Amazon. We are customer obsessed. If the customers aren't doing better, aren't happier, I don't want it. I don't want it in there. So anyway, that's just some of the ways, now we've built an AI bot that helps select what your digital identity should be. We've also written tools to help us with GEO and SEO. GEO now is making sure your generative AI tools can catch you. So we're using tools all over. And in fact, we've given our employees a budget every month. They can go pay some money. They can go experiment with a tool, see how it works. And then they share kind of what they've learned, what the great things are about it, and what we could be doing better.
What's your favorite tool that you've used? I know you got to use a lot when you were writing your book and really kind of explore the space. And I'm not sure how many years ago that was, but even moving on to what's out there and available today, do you have a favorite?
Oh my gosh, I have so many great tools. So if you're in marketing, I do like Write Sonic because not only does it help you generate some really good content, again, human in the loop, you got to read it, but it also helps you with the GEI thing. And again, the GEI thing today, it's kind of like don't know if this is a good analogy for you, but you know, if you're looking for a good face serum, there's part science in that, and then there's part art in that, right? And that's where we are with GEO too. There's some science in it, and there's some art in it. And I think what I like about Writesonic is it looks at your visibility across ChatGPT, across Claude, across Perplexity, and 10 other platforms. It doesn't just monitor, it recommends using AI what you need to fix. What can you do to boost visibility? What Reddit threads you need to join, what tech radar articles you need to pitch, what content needs to be updated. So that's one of the tools that I really like. I'm loving Nano Banana right now too, because I'm very visual. And it's a cool tool, right? I mean, have you tried it?
I have not tried that one. No, add it to my list now.
Yeah, so for marketing and things, I think that's good.
Okay.
For our customer support tool, we're using Freshdesk. We're a smaller company, so we don't have like a ServiceNow or any of those, but with Freshdesk, our tool is working really, really well. And then we build some of our tools straight from ChatGPT. So we'll do GPTs as well. So I've got so many. I've got a whole list of 100 that I love. I love AI Explain. AI Explain enables you to code without knowing how to code. Like I used to be a coder way back when. But one of the things I just built with it was, so I use WhatsApp a lot. I know we talked earlier, you don't use.
Yes.
I use WhatsApp all the time. I have customers all around the world and they contact me on WhatsApp. Well, what ends up happening is people will call me and they'll leave me a voicemail. And they'll say, oh, Sandy, can we get together Monday at 2 p.m.? Well, then I have to go through it. And, you know, a lot of these come in while I'm sleeping. I have to go and listen to 47 messages.
Oh, my gosh.
So what I did was I created an agent using AI Explain. And that agent goes in and listens to all my voicemails for me. And it picks out all the requests to meet with me. And then it will put it on the calendar if I have time. If I don't have time or I have a conflict, it will say, Sandy, you know, the CEO of this company wants to meet with you on this day at this time. You've already got this. Do you want to bump it? And so I then can say, yes, bump it or don't. So it does all that for me automatically. And so anyway, so I have a lot of tools that I'm trying right now. I love the tools that I used. I used ChatGPT Operator to build my agent for the book.
Okay.
Very good, very expensive, but very good. And so, you know, as you're talking about these agents, one of the things that I learned is that, you know, there are different types of agents. There's a standalone agent. Let's take, you know, my book, right? It's kind of standalone. It's independent. I feed it content from Forbes, but it's really a standalone agent. Then I have, you know, that calendar is kind of an integrated agent, right? Because it's got to go to WhatsApp. I've got to integrate it with WhatsApp. I've got to have the APIs for my calendar. So it's doing a task for me, kind of a single task, but it's integrated with other things. And then I've got a function integrated agent. So let's think about that support agent I talked about. That support agent is doing a department workflow. So it's integrated with Freshdesk. It's doing a functional integrated one. And then I think what comes next is an organization-wide you know, agent. And my favorite example there is JP Morgan Chase. I mean, they're just freaking rocking it. They have a whole LLM suite. They've got this project they call Coin, which is a contract intelligence. So it, you know, takes from the salespeople the contracts, it reads them, flags things to legal that need to be flagged, flags things back to the business team. They need to really renegotiate. And so it's kind of going across the org. It's going from sales to the business side to the legal team. And it's really, you know, it's going across everything. So they're doing some really cool things already orchestrating across an organization. But I would expect nothing less from JP Morgan.
No, again, another one of those companies at the cutting edge of it for sure. So Sandy, one question for you is, how do you stay grounded and focused in the midst of all this disruption?
Well, hopefully you can see as I'm talking, I love this disruption.
Right.
Like I love to disrupt myself. I love to figure out what is that next thing. And I think, Billy, it goes back to what we were chatting about earlier, is you've got to be a continuous learner. You got to love to learn. You got to love to change. A lot of people don't like change. And I think that's part of a leadership characteristic, that you've got to learn to love it. Like, because this AI is unlike anything we've experienced in the past. There's really no playbook out there, right? In my book, I started trying to analyze, okay, who's doing this well? Like, what's the playbook? There was no playbook. This book just came out in April. I could not find a playbook. Nobody has it yet. And that even got me more excited. Like, I can write my own playbook. And so I think that's really the cool thing right now, is that in order to stay grounded, you've got to love disruption. You've got to love change. And that helps you stay calm. Like, okay, this is just another thing. This is just another thing. This is just another thing. And I can learn, and I can try, and I can do great new things.
Change is the only constant, they say, and I think that absolutely applies to this.
I agree.
So is there anything that, like, we can at least anticipate or plan for a little bit? I know there's no playbook, but could we plan for a little bit of something to expect within the next 3 to 5 years?
So I think 3 to 5 years, what we're going to see is we're going to see kind of that ladder of AI I talked about, starting with ChatGPT, going to kind of automation, reasoning, going to agents, autonomous, with innovation, and then going cross and org. I think those will be, I think those 5 will be what we're going to work on in the next, 1 to 2 years. I would say don't wait on it. Like, jump in now. Even if you don't know what you're doing, jump in now. There's so many free classes out there, so many free webinars, so many great podcasts like your podcast that people can listen to and get inspired to get started. I mean, I think especially in the space, if you don't start today, you will be left behind. I mean, a lot of times you can't really say that, right? Okay, if you started on a cloud 10 years ago, and then you just started 2 years ago, you're not going to be left behind. But AI is something so different and so unique that you truly can be left behind. I just did a talk for a group of dry cleaners. I know, really exciting. Because I'm here in Scottsdale right now, for lots of different reasons. And there really isn't like, it's not like Silicon Valley, right? I'm in Silicon Valley. I go to like 5 different AI sessions a week. Here, it's more small businesses. And so I went to a small business association meeting, and I was talking about AI, and the Dry Cleaner Association invited me to come speak. And so it was really cool. I was watching the dry cleaners and seeing who might really grasp this. And so for one, we were looking at what could they do? How could they use AI? Because they wanted to try it. And I said, well, don't use AI just to try it. Let's start with a business goal. What are you trying to do for your business? Yeah. And so he wanted to be known as the dry cleaner who could get any stain out. That's what he wanted to be known as. And so we started looking up and doing some searches and asking ChatGPT and Grok and Claude, what are the top things in the Arizona area that people stain their clothes with? And it's fascinating. It knew, it had calculations, and it said wine. Wine was the number one thing that people stain their clothes with. It's interesting because I started searching other cities and different people have different things. Like one up in Maine, it's blueberries.
Okay.
Right. Huh. So what he started to do is I showed him how to create a blog. He uses some of the tools to get some of the content, but he is the expert. So he writes about how he got the red wine stain out, how he got the smell out, how he did this. He started like a whole blog series. And anyway, he started automating that using artificial intelligence to write it. And then he would examine it and post it. And he started growing his leads. Now, is that super magnificent AI? No. But it's a start. I mean, he's using it. He's doing it. He's learning. He just came to me the other day and said, oh, I'm going to do this. I think I'm going to build my own GPT. Now, this guy has never taken a computer science class. He's going to build his own GPT. That's what gets me excited, is those kind of people I think are going to be the leaders in the future, who start today, who say, I don't know it all, but who cares? I'm going to figure it out. So anyway, back to your original question. I think it's going to be that AI leadership stack. I can also give you a visual of that, but I think that's what it's going to be for the next, maybe not even 5 years. How can we even predict?
Yeah.
Maybe for the next 2 years.
Okay. It's so good. I think what you talked about earlier about if you don't have a process in place already, it's not something that needs automated. And even just now, when you're talking about the people that are dabbling in it, if they're dabbling in it, they should have a business goal in mind when they do that. And it's just going to take them so far. So, Sandy, I love it. The last question for you. It's the title of the podcast. Fill in the blank. Making more blank is most important to you at this point in your life and in your career.
Making more experiences is most
All right.
important to me in my life and my career. And I'll tell you why. I just was at a Gartner conference. I was just at a Gartner conference, and Gartner made this statement that the last form of true competitive advantage is experiences. Like that's something that it's going to be hard for other people to replicate. And I think about in the business world, I think about experiences that you can build with communities, right? I think community is a big moat right now, especially in the age of AI. I really do. So if you think about, community, I think there's like this new playbook that's going. I think it's a flywheel of experiences based on data you collect, right? So based on data you collect, not generic data, but data you collect, what we call first party data, kind of fit into AI models with, insights and actions leading to a better experience. I think this is what Figma did, think about Figma. Figma really used the community, their experience as the moat. They didn't really use the software as the moat. They had community-driven contributions. They did plugins. They did templates. They had these local meetups, right? So you were all in this Figma group. They had ecosystems of creators that were helping each other. That's really hard for a competitor to replicate. They looked at new experience level metrics like not just new user sign up, but how many users contribute to the community? How many community members stay active over time? And obviously AI is embedded in all of that. So I think it's that experience on a business level that's going to have that staying power. And that means human in the loop, right? That human element. And then personally, now as I'm now more experienced in my career, the things that really matter to me, like somebody asked the other day, Billy, what do you want for your birthday? I have like basically everything I want. I mean, do you as well? Like you have everything?
Yeah, I mean, things. You don't need more things.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Would I want a red Ferrari? Maybe, but but experiences, right? Like I want to see all 7 wonders of the world. I want to do. I just did a balloon ride. I want to jump out of an airplane with a parachute. I want those experiences now. It's really what stays with me and stays with me the longest. So I think it's all about experiences right now.
Too good. Too good. We had a PLM platform at Toyota. It was one of the world's biggest called Dassault Systems. And they were all about the 3D experience and creating these experiences. And I think they had one of the most just kind of riveting marketing campaigns that I've seen was all about the experience because they're big in healthcare. They're big in textiles and clothing. And so those are absolutely the areas where marketing is so crucial to connect with your users and your customers so that they understand that this is an experience. And I think many industries could take advantage of that because at the end of the day, like you said, we're all looking for experiences that we can love and that we can cherish.
And I think on the business side, a lot of people do think, oh, experience equals marketing. It doesn't because, I was looking at Whirlpool, and Whirlpool used to be known for great pre-sales. Like, okay, I'm going to buy your refrigerator. I would call you up and say, okay, you need, this voltage, you need this size space, you need all this stuff. And during cost cutting, Whirlpool said, well, look, our customer sat is so high. The product is so good. We don't need that anymore. And so they cut out that pre-sales And it ruined the customer experience because people were getting refrigerators delivered. I just had one delivered. We have a little condo in North Carolina where my parents are, and I just had a refrigerator delivered and it wouldn't freaking fit in the
No.
case. And he had told me to measure it, but when I measured it, I forgot one of the tricks. And he's like, "Oh, you always measure it this way." I'm like, "Why didn't you tell me?" Because we used to have this pre-sales thing. And so I started looking at the numbers, and because of the lack of that pre-sales, now their customer experience is going down. I look at other people, think about repairing something. That's part of the experience. The product is part of the experience. The marketing is part of the experience. And that's the other reason why I really love a customer experience, because it really is where everything comes together in your company, right? And one of the things that I thought that Amazon did so well was, one of my leaders there, his name was Steve Mills. He would look across the experience. Like, he had different products, and he always said that where the seams came together, that's where you need to look, right? Where do things come together? Maybe from, one type of software to another type of software, support to the software, services to the software. It's where the seams come together is where you have those glips in the customer experience. So just when you think about experience, don't think marketing is experience. Marketing is part of it, but it's really the whole thing.
Too good. Sandy, thank you so much for joining me today. I want to tell people again about the book, AI First, Human Always. Hold it up again if you want. There you go. And where can people find out more about what you're doing with Unstoppable Domains?
Yeah, so Unstoppable, it's unstoppabledomains.com. We have a LinkedIn page as well. We have an Instagram page. We're on Twitter or X still. We're on Facebook. Basically, you can find us everywhere. And you can reach out to me if you have any questions about Unstoppable or what we're doing or how you create your own digital identity as a company. We'd love to help you out as well.
All right. Once again, Sandy, it's been a great pleasure to have you today. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Billy.
Thanks for listening to Making More. If today's conversation sparked something in you, let's connect. You can find me on LinkedIn and Threads at Coach Fisher FPT, or by visiting billyfisher.focalpointcoaching.com to learn more about how I help leaders create clarity, build momentum, and make more of what matters. This recording is copyrighted by Engineered Consulting Incorporated. Until next time, take care.